Hey, it's Misha. Before we start the episode, I wanted to let y'all know about our very first live show. We'll be performing live at the D4 Tabletop Conference at WonderCon 2025 in Anaheim, California, the last weekend in March. Come see Bex, Lynn, Ian, Mayana, and myself playing a special one-shot and generally trying to make you laugh and show you a good time. Tickets are available at the link in our show notes. Can't wait to see you there.
Previously on The Wandering Path.
A huge brawl broke out at the Radical Action Collective rally when Ravona and her strike team busted down the doors to arrest everyone. But while her heroes fought back to give everyone time to escape, Javi cast a spell with a piece of that special bright astra and summoned 3 wraiths to the scene, which then fused into a giant super wraith with antlers. What's up with that? JJ, Ibra, and a giant-sized Gordon fended them off with some timely help from Ravona, while Fran scrambled to finish a device that would send the wraith back to wherever they come from. But Javi, as well as Ibra's heirloom blade, got sent along with it. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, I guess. All caught up? Okay, then let's see what's around the bend, today on The Wandering Path. We re-enter the scene in the dead silence left behind after the enormous conglomeration of wraiths that once combined grew antlers, horns, shaped strangely, oddly, to give them a distinctly Balvarox-like appearance.
What?
Shocker, no one saw it coming.
Hey, rude.
I did not see it coming.
Liar!
I did not see it coming.
Well, you're not paying attention.
I wasn't. I was not paying attention.
After Javi gave himself up to banish this thing back from whence it came.
Crazy.
The air of the warehouse in the arts district is impossibly still. The various members of the Radical Action Collective, Ravona, her strike team consisting of Brahma and their allies, everyone just sort of dumbstruck.
Where did he...
What the fuck was that?
No. Oh my God. Oh, Mom's gonna kill me.
I feel like we have more to worry about than your mom for once.
Like, where'd they go? Like, around, right? Like, not far, right? Like, you couldn't be like...
I love that context of knowing that Javi has Misty Step. So
Yeah.
you're just like, 30 feet away, where are they?
Yeah, like, that's not, like, Javi?
I look across, like, giant me looks to, like, 2 of the...
Oh my God, yeah, you're still giant.
I'm Wreck-It Ralph style
Yeah,
right
there
now.
you go.
Like, I'm maybe, like, holding one of the soldiers by the scruff of the neck, and then, like, we share a look, and I, like, calmly put the shoulder down. Because we're all just sort of standing there, like, not knowing what to do. Like kids at a dance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And no one wants to dance anymore.
Yeah.
Can I take a look at... I wanted to see what Ravona's reaction to this is.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll insight for me.
Ooh.
16.
The first thing you can tell on Ravona's face is she wasn't expecting this revelation this turn either. I think she is as surprised as you guys are.
Oh, no.
In the middle of the fight, she abandoned her quest to arrest everyone involved and turned and actually, like, defended you guys, defended Javi while he was finishing whatever he was finishing.
Yeah, she was, like, right near me and Javi, right?
Yeah.
She's running interference for the 2 of you.
Yeah.
She was defending you completing your task. She was defending Javi completing his task, which ultimately led to him getting disappeared, who knows where. And so the first thing I think is this might be the first time you have seen Ravona drop the station of her office. She's not Inspector Ravona in this moment. She's just a woman who saw something she needs to make sense of for herself before she does it for any authority figure.
About time.
She's frozen. She's frozen in this moment. She needs to recalibrate. She's recalibrating.
Buffering screen on her face.
Yeah.
Spinning wheel of death.
That, like, computer...
Yeah.
We should add that in.
Is it a look of, like, personal failure, like I have failed, or is it just like, oh my God, this is, you know, I'm so dumbstruck?
Yeah, good question. I think it's she needs to re-examine her definition of failure.
Yeah.
I think she hasn't ordered her troops to let anyone go who was grabbed up, who was arrested, who was bound. But she hasn't ordered them to resume. She's not angry that they abandoned their task to evacuate civilians. She is taking her own beat. I think in the silence of things, as people like get to their feet and dust themselves off, she's sort of like retreated to a corner.
Is everyone okay? Is anyone injured?
I'm fine. You got hit, Gordon, pretty bad.
Did I?
With a rubber bullet, right?
Oh, right, in the head.
In the head, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
I think I healed.
Yeah.
Okay, you got healed.
But
okay,
I
good.
do have an enormous, like a softball, because I'm large too,
Yeah.
so the welt is twice the size, so it's literally
Bowling ball
the size
sized.
of your fist.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And because you're an anime character, it's got a big X bandage
pew,
over
pew.
it.
Yeah.
I also want to check in on the other members of the rack and even Ravona's team to see how everyone's looking.
Yeah. There are members of the rack that got out of the building. There are people that were bound up in the early moments of the battle. They're not being released, but I do think the strike team is sort of gently getting them on their feet and escorting them outside of the building now.
Mm-hmm.
Not letting them go, but treating them less like cattle to be rustled up and more like people that experienced the same trauma that they just did. I think the major vibe here is like, man, we entered this room on opposite sides and now everyone is kind of on the same side. Even if the status quo hasn't completely changed quite yet, there's definitely an air of let's just make sure people are taken care of first and then we'll figure the rest out later.
Got it.
I think in the icky silence of it all and of people shuffling around and trying to get their footing, I think Giant Gordon just feels really bad. That pit of the stomach, oh my God, what just happened feeling, and sees Ravona, what looks to Gordon like sulking in the corner. And I think I lumber over and as I approach Ravona, I reach into my giant muffin bandolier and I hand her a savory muffin as a peace offering. I'm pretty big, so as I'm lumbering over, does anyone follow me over there?
I think I do. I think if I see you going over there, I'm going to go too.
Yeah, I think there's no way she can ignore your giant footsteps coming her way. Boom, boom, boom. And you take a muffin from your pack and hand it to her, and she looks up and kind of raises one eyebrow briefly. The size of the situation kind of bringing her back to ground for a moment. And she takes a moment, hands on her knees, looking up at you, completely silent, and then she opens her arms wide and makes a bear hug around the giant muffin and puts it down next to her.
Yes!
And then takes another moment while it's sitting next to her. She has an internal moment where she decides if she's going to say something pithy or not. And then she puts one claw into the top of the muffin and tears out a chunk of it and holds a handful of giantized pastry in her hand and picks off little pieces, a little piece of it.
It's garlic chive.
A garlic chive muffin?
Yeah,
sounds
garlic chive
amazing.
parmesan. So it's like a scone, but it's a muffin.
I love that so much.
Okay.
And then I think Gordon's just so overwhelmed. I mean, what we just saw is tragic, even though we don't really know what it is. And I think giant tears well up. And I plop down onto my enormous butt and take also a little chunk of the muffin.
Fran doesn't really, I don't think she quite understands how missing Javi is. I think I need to have a better understanding of just because we've seen them disappear. So in my mind, I'm well, we'll just go find the grid. We'll track where they came from and we'll get them back. No problem. It's going to be fine. I don't understand why everybody's so sad.
But my Naginata's gone.
Totally, yeah. No, I get that, but we're gonna get it back. It's not. He couldn't have gotten far.
Oh my God, my mom's gonna
Well,
kill
do we
me.
have locate object? We'll find where it is. I'm sure it's not far, and we can just get it back.
I don't know if things are fine, Fran, as I'm helping up one of the civilians who's down.
Sure.
You saw those antlers, right?
Yeah.
That's... I don't know where they are, but if that thing's anywhere, I don't think we're fine. I hate to say it, but I really hope that they're nowhere near here.
Okay. Okay, but But it takes a couple of them to make one guy, right?
In theory, yeah, but we have no idea how many of these things are out there. The last time we ran into them, there were, 2?
Yeah. So you need at least 3. So that's good, because they don't seem to roll tight like that. Maybe they're all fighting.
Okay, we gotta figure out where they came from, because Javi said that he was gonna triangulate and figure out where they came from and send them back there. That's where my sword is. Okay, I gotta get my naginata.
Oh.
Where did they go?
Right.
Brahma.
Brahma?
Where's Brahma? Where'd Brahma go?
Yeah, Brahma is standing near the back entrance to the warehouse, supervising the rest of the team, evacuating the rest of the civilians. It seems like of that strike team, Brahma comes out as the leader, you know?
Sick.
That tracks. You mean Brahma's the JJ?
That's so funny.
What?
I think JJ plus Ibra makes one Brahma, perhaps, but also that might be too much
I
for
don't
Brahma.
even
We don't
know
have to
what
get
you're
into
talking
that.
about. That's JJ in character. What the fuck are you all saying?
JJ is in charge. They just did not know that.
I don't want to be.
Exactly, which is why you're in charge.
Yeah, I think if you're evacuating civilians, JJ, you probably take one of the civilians gently by the arm. They're still bound by a magical restraint.
Oh.
Do you attempt to remove that restraint while you're escorting this person out the door?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can you roll intimidation for me?
What? On the restraints?
No, not on the restraints themselves. Yeah, intimidate the restraint to get it off. No, please roll intimidation for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's a nat 1.
That tracks, unfortunately, for JJ.
Yeah, I think JJ helps a civilian up, looks down at the restraints, and just goes like, this isn't, and then makes to move to remove them. They're not even really thinking about the implications, but is clearly we're doing something else. What just happened is clearly we're all moving on from what this is, and really without hesitation just moves to remove it.
Yeah, I think with a nat 1, from behind your shoulder, you don't even see them coming. One of the strike team grabs your wrist.
Oh my god.
It's the dwarf mage. Just grabs your wrist tight before you can even put a finger on the restraint.
Ooh.
We may be done here, but we haven't moved on.
Good to know where your priorities lie.
Can you re-roll intimidation? Sorry.
No, I like that that's still a failure, because I think that means something.
It's okay to have more than one priority.
These people will always be my priority. And I just take my wrist back, and I don't do anything more about it, but I am kind of fuming as I continue to help civilians up.
Yeah.
Kind of say to some of them, we'll do our best to get this sorted. I'm so sorry you're caught in the crossfire of all of this.
Yeah, you lead them outside. Some people are standing off to one side, like witnesses and bystanders, and those who had already been bound are seated on the sidewalk next to each other. And there's a big amount of tension, right, between people aren't quite sure if the situation's over. There's it's after the battle, but the arresting is still not done. We haven't let everyone go.
JJ is very upset about everyone's reactions to this. Comes back inside, kind of stomps a little bit, and even seeing you all talking with Ravona, kind of yells from afar, "Inspector, you have to call off this arrest. There are other things happening. This is no way to treat the population that just witnessed something extremely fucked up. You want to continue to traumatize them? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, go ahead and roll persuasion with advantage, please.
Fuck yeah. Come on, queen.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Those are
Wow.
those are 2 10s.
With pluses?
Nope, I have a flat.
Oh,
Charisma.
fair.
That's why I'm like this.
We need to send you to night finishing school.
Yeah, Fran's night school of being a badass bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a 10, that's so interesting. Ravona swallows her bite of Parmesan garlic chive muffin.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Slowly stands to her feet, and without making eye contact with anyone on her team or you, holds up a claw and says, "Let him go." One of her strike team, I think the big one, the big Capra in armor, in heavy armor, pipes up. Boss, you're going to turn this mission into a complete failure? We're not even going to do anything we came here to do?
Okay, if the number of arrests dictates a success or a failure, I think there's a whole other metric that we need to discuss, probably.
She says, Bash, leave it alone. If they commit more crimes, we'll arrest them then. Let them go. Bash's nostrils flare.
I think Brahma approaches at that point.
Yeah.
That was an order.
Oh!
Hell yeah.
Gold star for Brahma.
Bash snorts and, stomps one foot angrily and then
Stomps back.
and then turns and heads back through the door, unclipping something from his belt. JJ, you can see a little magical magnetic lock mechanism, and Bash, still furious, just kind of bends down one by one and no fanfare, no sympathy to this man, just unclips one by one and releases the civilians. And they sort of rejoin the rest of the crowd. Yeah, this relieves a little bit of the tension. A couple of people hugging, now, instead of, we just witnessed a traumatic thing and we might still be arrested, we're down a level just to, we all witnessed a traumatic thing.
I think that even though JJ hates Bash, turns her attention to all of the people, comforting each other in that moment, and then looks back at the rest of the scattered individuals, which is essentially our party, right? Just within the warehouse.
Yeah, the rest of the Radical Action Collective is gathered outside. They've sort of been released fully. It's you guys, some of Ravona's strike team, and Ravona left in the warehouse.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
What now?
I have no idea.
I'm glad you can be honest about that.
JJ, kind of looks down at her feet. A lot of the heat immediately taken away.
You guys hear the sort of light clatter of tin and metal from behind you, and Giant Gordon is pulled out a small wok.
I'm so happy.
Dungeon Meshi style from the bag of holding, and is setting up a small outdoor cooking station.
Yeah, sure, I hear you, but also nothing you do is small, so it's
Aren't you
actually a giant wok.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Which is good because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
And
gonna
I
go up
start-
to you. What do you need?
Just go start taking orders from people.
You got it. I have
Server Fran
my
is
little
back.
notebook from my server days, and I go start taking orders.
And I start putting veggies on skewers.
Sure. As you're digging around in the bag of holding, you're pulling out, onions,
Yeah, bell peppers.
maybe a whole pineapple.
Yeah.
And with your big hands, you just start twisting off the top of your
Oh
hand
my
and
God.
preparing it. As you keep pulling ingredients from your bag, your hands glance across the 4 crystals of bright Astra still in your bag. And it's just a brief moment of just oh yeah, those are in there. Let's move those to the side. Where's that potato?
Is the book in there too? Is the book that we got from the governor's office also in the bag of holding?
I feel
think
like
it is.
I've given you every key item we've gotten for that bag.
Yeah, so it's the 4 piece of Astra and the fucking book that we just
Stole from Ravona.
Yeah, and just move a handkerchief over the top, grab the potato, and maybe a slab of salt cured pork belly that's temperature stable.
Will you roll deception for me?
Oh, sick.
Oh fuck!
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
7.
We are rattled.
Yeah, the blood drains from your face as soon as your fingers brush those crystals, and it's because your face is so big. I think it's pretty clockable by everyone in the room.
Oh no! I was trying to do something good, and I've done something bad.
I don't know if it's bad.
Okay, good.
We can't discern necessarily that that's what you're responding to. It's just you were doing something and then your face got really spooked by something you found in your own bag.
Yeah. Maybe I try to do a second deception, and I take the knife and I nick my finger, and I go ooh, as in I cut myself.
1 piercing damage.
Fuck.
And not to put too fine a point on it, but I did roll the d4 that you gifted me to do that.
So it really helped me. It gave me 1 instead of 4 piercing
Yeah,
damage.
that's
There
true.
you go. There you go.
So I'm cooking up like pork belly skewers and veggies and...
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And I think that Chef's Treats at some point, I think they give you some kind of regained HP.
Yeah, if you eat one, you get temporary HP.
Yeah.
Immediately, like, the smell of sizzling meat fills the space and, like, finally something to fill the void left behind.
I think the smell and sound shakes Ibra. Their stomach starts to rumble and they start to come back to reality and like out of the absolute panic they've been in. They've just been pacing, like playing investigator with nothing to investigate in the area where Javi and the Spectre disappeared.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Do you want to roll? We can do, I think, either investigation or arcana.
Let's see which one is higher. They're both low.
They're both intelligence rolls.
Today's one of those days.
16.
Hey,
That's not low. That was pretty good.
No, the modifier was low.
Oh,
the
sure.
roll was very high.
There's very few visual markings left behind. Like the dust on the ground was disturbed in, sort of like a circular pattern. It looks like as people were shuffling around, running around, being chased by authorities, wraiths, what have you, at the very last moment, everything in a certain radius was drawn inward immediately, almost like an implosion.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think you get a lot of olfactory cues, a lot of smells. So at first, it's the distinct smell of ozone that occurs whenever a wraith appears.
Whoa.
And you're pretty used to that. You've seen a few wraiths now. You can kind of identify it pretty quickly. But there's an underlayer that's a little more subtle. And at first, when you take a whiff, the sense of smell is so directly tied to memory that, like, smells are one of the strongest things that can transport you to a specific place in time.
Oh, yeah.
And something about this underlayer sends you back to playing in the garden with your siblings, running through, like, fresh manicured grass and flowers, the flowers of the Ohialahua tree. And maybe it takes you, maybe you're like, is that related? And you take another whiff. The smell changes. It's still like a subtle underlayer, but now you're remembering the smell of like sneaking into the kitchens for a snack with Hema. And you take a third whiff and there's another memory. And slowly what you learn is that this underlayer is not any specific smell, not any specific memory. It's the smell of memory.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Brahma, I think, approaches. Did you get anything?
The smell of memory.
Okay, that...
No, try it. Really, try it.
Okay.
Brahma closes their eyes and takes a deep breath. Brahma, I think, is one who's probably more adept at hiding things on their face immediately. But you can see the same curiosity that you feel, Ibra, written all over their face as it was probably written all over yours. Similar faces and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we fighting memories?
I don't know. This must be, I imagine, similar to the people who've been losing their memories.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
I mean, maybe there's some kind of transference.
We need to talk about the dream.
I know. What was Brahma's piece of the dream?
Brahma's piece of the prophetic dream was trying to hold back a press of bodies surging forward towards them.
Jesus.
It was, I think, they describe a horde of people with blank bone plate faces surging forward and them being the only one keeping them out, sort of like defending against an overwhelming tide as these people tried to rush in. And then all of a sudden, all of those bodies were lit from behind Brahma by a bright white light and blown backwards. So that in one moment, Brahma's using all of their might to keep people back. And in the next moment, like the opposing force is gone, and so like Brahma like sort of stumbled forward and fell to their knee, and then took one curious glance back over their shoulder just in time for the explosion of bright white light to blow everything away.
And the really fucked up part was, I was just proud of how strong I felt.
I'm proud of how strong you were. Can I tell you what mine was?
Yeah.
And I relay everything, shot for shot, beat for beat, step for step.
Shit, Ibra.
I think you holding them back must have been the only way we could do what we were doing.
Okay.
We also found out that that's the trick. If you had the dream, you get to remember.
Who else knows that?
I don't know. Our team.
Okay. You haven't told Ravonna?
Well, she doesn't really want to hear from us right now.
She seems pretty ready to listen.
Well, this is a new development. I think we need to really join forces. Do you think you can help us?
Oh, you want me to be the little bridge?
You're a perfect bridge.
I know. That's the problem.
I tend to burn them.
All right. But you owe me one.
I always do.
I know you do. I'm going to go over to Ravonna.
Yeah, Ibra and Brahma together approach.
Lockstep.
Yep.
Boop, 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 boop.
Like the monkeys dance.
Other mom.
Yeah. I think Fran is just like, okay, it is weird seeing them next to each other, right? It's pretty like...
Super weird.
Yeah.
And there's a third.
Oh my god. I haven't met the third. I bet they're hella cool.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know.
Party point?
Party point.
absolutely.
Party
Yes.
point.
So it sounds like the group is all congregating over here as Gordon hands like a pineapple pork belly skewer to like a guard, and that guard like walks away, or a soldier.
Yeah, I think Paz comes up and grabs like 3 or 4 of them.
Adorable.
Heck yeah.
She's like, Gordon, these are so good.
And they're like big.
They're enormous.
And she does grab 3 or 4
I
of
love
them.
it.
Hell yeah.
She's like, I think more than anything, more than shell-shocked, more than comforting, consoling, she is famished.
Yeah.
Is Paz like physically stronger in her arms, like from the wraith stuff? Is she able to like carry more things?
Ooh, good question. Roll medicine.
Medicine. Ooh,
Medicine.
Here I go.
Today's the day
Medicine.
where I make everyone roll things they're not necessarily very good at.
I respect that. Okay, no pluses. Here we go.
Yay, here we go.
Whee! That's a 3.
Oh my god, Paz is so buff now.
Yeah, wow.
That was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on with Paz. Changes.
We don't know.
Seems pretty normal that she can carry as much as she wants
That's
now.
so funny. It's like, yeah, easy peasy.
Oh yeah, she's carrying stuff. I've never thought that was weird.
That's so funny. Is she using 2 arms or 1 arm to carry the stuff?
She's using 2 arms, and she's got her cane over
Under her,
one.
like in the armpit?
Yeah, like hooked over her elbow.
I think I'm taking orders, but I see that, and I'm in the middle of somebody giving me like a really long list of like
dietary restrictions.
Yeah. And I'm like, sorry, would you just 1 second? And I'm just gonna go over and hold 2 of the skewer. I'll hold 3 of the skewers so that they can have their cane in their hand, if they allow me.
No, I got it.
Okay,
I'm good.
Okay, Queen.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all good, Queen.
I'm okay. I think I'm just really hungry.
Well, we discussed this. You're going to need to eat more food now.
Right.
You're a superhero.
Right. Yeah. And then she takes a huge bite of a
There you go.
mushroom.
All right, there we go. All right, good.
Giant mushroom.
You're doing great, sweetie. I'm going to go back and get this guy has like there's ones in there I've never even heard of, so I'm going to go just keep taking that
And can
list.
you denature the enzymes of the pineapple before I eat it?
Yeah,
I have a
absolutely.
really sensitive stomach.
Okay,
In the back, you hear, order up.
Ravonna takes several deep breaths, trying to come back to the world in front of her, the world where she had a mission and felt that it was righteous and knew that she needed to carry it out. And it takes more than 1 deep breath because she is so far away.
JJ just sits next to her and, like, silently, wordlessly starts doing some deep breathing exercises just next to Ravonna that if she chooses to or notices that she can start syncing with my breaths to help ground herself.
Ooh, yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. I think over the course of like 4 or 5 breaths, she falls in time with you, and her eyes refocus and like come back to life. And finally, she looks you face to face, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
You dropped everything to keep everyone safe.
That's the job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I thought the worst of the danger was the people of this city stumbling upon something more powerful than they can contain and using it recklessly. I thought people who didn't know what they were doing with forces beyond their control would put civilians in harm's way. I thought Javi was the greatest danger we faced. Boy, was I wrong.
I don't think you were wrong to be worried about the unknown and what people might do with it. But I'm not sure if the answer to that is continuing to keep people in the dark. There's no dignity in that. I know trust is earned, but benefit of the doubt goes a long way too. So.
All right, JJ. What would you do to keep dangerous materials, this Astra with the glow in the middle of it? It's special, it's dangerous, it's powerful, it's raw. And people all around the city have been stumbling across it and doing who knows what. What do you do?
I think that's a question that is beyond me. And because of that, I wouldn't leave myself to making the sole decision on what to do. You have a team. You have more than this team. There, as much as people can be reckless or ignorant, there are also people that want to work together.
We can't just leave these things out in the wild.
I agree.
Did you tell Brahma about the moving workshop? Because I feel like it, above table, it's irresponsible to leave it in civilians' hands, like even our hands. The workshop moves and they are not interested in Astra.
I think what I have told Brahma is that Astra is not the only source of magic.
Right.
I've found some people who hide themselves and their location who believe that Astra is dangerous.
Yeah.
And we are dangerous.
Right.
And what was used to create us is volatile and dangerous.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who are working to make magic accessible through a safer means.
Yeah. Ibra, what about those people you told me about? Do you think that they would be trustworthy?
The Weavers?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, but we don't know who to trust. I think that we can't let more people know about the Weavers than have to. Okay. I'm not saying we don't let Ravonna know. I just need Ravonna to know that she's good at keeping secrets, and that's one she has to keep.
Okay.
If she knows.
Understood.
And it's not my world. It's not my secret to expose.
I understand.
I think you have to ask Fran.
All right.
Also, what I just said, still withstanding, about, not everybody knowing certain things, I really think we have to start sharing information.
I understand. I agree.
Ravonna scares me. I don't want to be the one to tell her that.
No problem. I can handle it from here.
You always do.
Inspector, JJ, I think it's time we bury the hatchet. Don't you?
Brahma, you're very wise, and I really appreciate your counsel. Metaphorically, I agree. It's become very clear to me that rather than be an inspector of anything, I've become a guard dog carrying out someone else's orders and not questioning the methods. Physically, burying the weapon we have been fighting over is a more daunting task, because I was tasked with confiscating these special pieces of Astra wherever I found them, containing whatever damage they wrought, and locking them in a safe in my office, and we all know how that turned out. Why was I keeping them in a safe in my office? Why was I making such a tantalizing target?
You were just doing what you thought was best.
I was doing what I was ordered was best.
Gordon perks up. Gordon perks up over the, like 5 feet away, having listened in. Because that's really suspicious. Like, why was she making such a target? Mm-hmm. And Gordon, over your shoulder...
Detective Gordon is back on the scene! Takes the chef hat off, puts the detective hat on. Yes!
Walk, spins into a magnifying glass.
And Gordon says...
Orders given by who, Ravona?
Governor Cinco.
And I think a collective exhale occurs because we've all been suspecting the governor anyway.
Yeah.
And just out loud so we can all hear it in game, I say.
You were creating a target.
Inspector, if I may, I'm a bit concerned that you have been turned into a shield for this.
A fall guy.
Yeah. I know I can speak for the rest of us. It doesn't feel good to feel manipulated.
No. No, it does not.
I think Brahma does put like a respectful hand on shoulder, like, one of those. Yeah. Inspector, we have an opportunity to turn this around. I think we've got some people here who want to do good.
And if that's what you want to do, truly, we are on the same side.
JJ, can you roll persuasion with advantage again?
Do it.
Please roll best. I'm going to my special dice.
Going poorly today.
Do it.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what I want.
Just shake hands already, Jesus.
She holds out a claw.
JJ reaches her hand out, shakes it, firm, but not, when some people try and shake hands as like a show of power, where they like squeeze a little too hard or shake a little too hard.
Jumpy shit right there, just
pull
you towards them.
Yeah, no, it's a very, I'm matching your energy in this handshake moment.
Pleasure to be finally working with you.
JJ, for once in this miserable mission, the pleasure's mine. Hey there, it's Misha. This is the rest stop. Come take a break beside the path with me, just until we catch our breath. This past week, Mayana and her crew over at StoryQuest threw a get-together for local TTRPG creators in the area. It was just really lovely to connect with our community. We feel so uplifted this month, so welcomed, and so eager to give back as much as we've received. And you know that no one uplifts us quite like our patrons over at patreon.com/wanderingpathpod. Thank you so much to our newest patron, B, for hopping on with us. And of course, an extra special every ep shout out to our beloved patrons at Voyager level or above, JWX, Aubrey L, Claricite, The Queer Mess, and Madison M, who upgraded this week. Thank you, Madison. We receive so much love from y'all, and we hope that giving back stuff like ad-free episodes, bloopers for every ep, early access to new drops, and more make it worth it. In fact, our Voyager level patrons get an exclusive additional blooper reel for this episode. So if any of that stuff sounds like a good time to you, or you simply want to give us life, sustain us, and bring us to new seasons, you can help starting at just a couple dollars per episode. One more time, patreon.com/wanderingpathpod. And we cannot wait to see our community live and in person this weekend at WonderCon 2025. At the time this releases, it is only a few days away, and we've been cooking up something really fun just for the con. We are performing in room North 151 at the Anaheim Convention Center Sunday, March 30th at 12 p.m. But I'll also be floating around during the whole convention, and Mayana will be there performing with StoryQuest 2, also featuring friend of the pod Reed Sites, so come check it out and say hi. Once again, our show is Sunday, March 30th in North 151. Be there or be square. We are brought to you again this week by Project Ghostlight, an actual play channel exploring the dark depths of personal horror. The players that brought you LA by Night and New York by Night have banded together once again in this new form and returned to the world of darkness in a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle they call Private Nightmares. Private Nightmares stars our own Mayana Barron, alongside Abria Iyengar, Xander Jeanneret, Gina DeVivo, Luis Carrazzo, and Alexander Ward as the storyteller. Episodes air live on YouTube and the Project Ghostlight Twitch channel every other Friday. You can support support the channel in shows like Private Nightmares by visiting patreon.com/projectghostlight. And a huge thanks to them for supporting us. Being in community, that's what it's all about. Okay, that's it for now. Let's get back on the path and back to the show. After you make your accord with Ravona, she sort of stands up and dusts herself off. She gestures for Brahma to follow her and sort of rounds up the rest of her team. It seems like she's got a little bit of cleanup of her own to do, leaving the four of y'all with, it's so weird to say, an open evening.
That's wild. Wait, what day is it in World 7?
Yeah, 7 or 8, something like that.
Oh my God. Wow, a night off. Can you believe it?
Hey, life comes at you fast. Or slow in this case.
It really, no, I mean, I think it comes at you in terms of fast. I mean, a lot's happened in 6 days.
Yeah,
so.
life comes at you fast.
Fast, yeah.
So, the denouement of this big battle, this emotional turmoil, like, it leaves you guys sort of free and clear. Where do you go? What do you do?
Well, whose house?
I think on the way out, Ibra's like to Brahma, see you at the doctor's?
See you at the doctor's.
Sweet.
Oh, one more thing. A bunch of stuff got shipped to the house. There was a lava lamp in there, so I assume it's stuff from your dorm room.
Oh, crap.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's there to get picked up whenever you get a second. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later.
That's so funny.
Of course there's a
She
fucking
said
lava
it.
lamp.
It's canon. We can't change
Of
it.
course there's a lava lamp.
We can go to mine. I live relatively close by, and then kind of remembering where the fuck we are and what just happened. JJ then looks for Samira, being like,
Yeah. Do you invite Samira to come back with you guys?
I think what I say to Samira is like, hey, wanted to check in with you, but I know you and Javi anyway, you and the rest of your group have a relationship with him, and I want to be there for you, but it does seem like it would make more sense for you to be with your people about this. Just let me know if you need anything, okay?
I'm going to propose something to you, Lynn.
Okay. I thought you were going to propose.
Is this a flirt roll?
I think it's a flirt roll with disadvantage.
Yes.
I love that.
Which this is new for me. We're gonna have to figure out how this goes.
I don't know what that means.
I think what it means is you roll 2 dice, and whichever is the furthest away from Samira's roll is the one that locks.
I
it.
think that makes
Cool.
sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is insane.
What
This
the
is insane.
fuck?
Bex, you see those numbers,
Is it
right?
I
double
can
ones?
confirm that these are 2 crits in opposite directions.
That's a nat 1 and nat 20.
Oh my god. Samira rolled right in the middle.
Wow.
Fuck!
The dice are telling a story.
Oh, I love that one person rolls 2 and then you
Yeah.
rolled 1.
Yeah.
I love that.
As far as like setting a DC,
You know,
I
so to
love
speak.
that.
We're just trying to make up mechanics to match the story here.
This
Yeah.
feels great.
I'm
the flirt roll is
obsessed.
one of the most powerful tools we have in this life.
So true. And I like that no matter how I rolled, it wasn't close.
It doesn't
No.
matter.
That was gorgeous.
That's crazy.
I think
That's crazy.
Samira. I think in
That's
this moment,
crazy.
Samira gives you so little.
Yeah.
I think she is. She's trying to keep a neutral face for her people. Maybe it feels like. Yeah, I'll catch up with you later, and turns back to help the rest of her people out.
Yeah.
It seems like she's stepping up to a leadership role for lack of anybody else.
Yeah. And JJ knew that that's exactly what she was going to do.
Damn. Brutality.
Let's go, everyone!
Okay, JJ's apartment.
apartment.
I'm packing up. I've packed up all my stuff into the bag of holding. Sickest fucking item you can have, by the way.
Are you still big?
How?
I'm only big for like an
hour?
or so,
Yeah,
couple
maybe
hours.
maybe over the course of the hour, as like people are packing up and people are sort of yeah. I like the idea that you're packing things up and you and all of your possessions shrink in sync with each
Proportionally.
other.
I like that.
So like you're cooking, you're big, you start packing stuff away and it's all normal, and so by the time you're finished packing away, you're normal size again, and you
That's
look up
fun.
from your stuff and you're like, oh,
All right.
Sailing as high away as it was before.
Everyone else got really big for all this.
It's
I
fucking
love
crazy. I'm sad being normal sized again. Being big rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know the feeling.
Yeah, I know.
Not even a little bit.
We gotta save a big spell for JJ for one of these days.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
at that as Lynn.
No, I'm at that as Bex.
Tiny people.
Tiny peeps.
Okay, so I walk
yeah.
past the group and I very quietly, just so we can hear, say, when we get back to JJ's, I think we all have some reading to do. And I sort of like raised my eyebrows. Haven't seen the book earlier.
I raised my eyebrows back, and I've been sketching in my my server notebook, and I show a little sketch to Ibra, and it's like, is this close? And it's like a Naginata 2.0.
Oh, look,
Ibra, like a little tears start welling up in Ibra's eyes, and they just start sniffling, and they're like, "Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really great."
Have we been to your place before?
I feel like
Not on tape, not in the campaign.
not in the campaign.
I'll leave that to you, Lynn. Like, how often do you have other people over to
I
your
think
place?
at most, probably Ibra's been there because we're students together.
We're
But
cuties.
it is a modest. I think I said a studio.
In my mind, because like the introduction we had to JJ is a meticulously ordered schedule of every moment of the day. In my mind, I think JJ's apartment is like exactly as big as it needs to be for JJ to live a comfortable lifestyle, being the only person who lives there.
Yeah.
So like very much like a one chair, one fork,
Yeah.
one bowl kind of house.
No,
Real.
there's definitely at least a set of 3.
Okay.
Because,
because-
JJ does believe in hosting.
And Samira
Okay.
probably
And
comes over
Samira comes
a
over
bit,
a lot.
and, yeah.
Samira probably was like, JJ, you cannot live like this.
That is so funny.
I was like, well,
Samira bought you 2 more plates.
Yeah. And it was
So they're
like one for
different
me
colors.
and hopefully one for someone else at some other point. And I'm like, okay.
That's so
And the
cute.
first time Ibra came over and Samira heard about it, she was like, see, this is why the other place.
Exactly.
What's the color palette of your studio?
A lot of like earth tones.
Yeah.
I
Earth
think.
tones.
Yeah, very earth tones.
I like that.
I guess we'd invite Paz over.
Yeah, Paz
Yeah?
would come.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does Paz take the bus off? And she must, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Pass and come.
hell yeah.
I think maybe 5 people is starting to feel a little crowded. in
It'll feel a
JJ's
little cramped.
apartment.
Well, yeah.
Somebody might have to stand.
Thank God I'm
Yeah.
not big anymore.
Yeah, that was a genuine
That would have
concern
been a tough
earlier.
time. That would have been a tough time.
I'm going to give you a point for that one. Yeah, so y'all head out, catch a bus around to JJ's apartment. I think it's a crowded bus, and it sort of doesn't leave y'all a huge amount of room to discuss.
Yeah, the heat's too hot. The heat's too hot.
like secret dangerous things in public, but I think there's something about like as soon as you close the door, like the waiting to discuss this thing
Yeah.
on the bus, on the sidewalk, there's a little bit of just like baseline tension, and as soon as the door closes and like makes that sealed bubble, like finally, as soon as you're in this enclosed space, everybody like just sort of lets out a sigh.
Big sigh.
No sighing for Gordon. I've been buzzing.
Yes.
There's not a ton of space, but feel free to sit on the bed. And you can use my desk chair. I don't have this many people over.
Do you have like
usually.
a pillow, like a floor sit pillow?
Oh yeah.
All right,
This
I'll
one.
do that.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Just like throws a cushion at you.
Yeah.
So Gordon like
thanks.
pops down crisscross applesauce in the middle of the room. Is there like a
Yeah, there's like it's definitely one of those things where there is a small table for dining and then like a small coffee-ish table near I guess not a TV. They don't have TVs. Near a radio.
Cool.
near a radio?
Near a radio.
A TV? I have never heard of this.
I'll be honest, I think we're in the phase of society where like one family on the block has a TV.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of
Yeah, I
in that.
definitely would not have a TV.
Yeah, I think maybe if JJ doesn't like, but
We've talked
I
about
think,
movies before.
Does
Yeah, I
people in
think
the
TVs exist.
Constellation have TVs like
Yeah,
up the wazoo?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
Tracks. Okay.
So I immediately pull out, like I'm just going at a mile a minute because I've been thinking the
Yeah,
whole time I was
spinning.
cooking. And so I pull out the book, put the book on the coffee table, and I start to say, okay, here are the 3 things that seem important to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. 1, governor is suspect number 1.
Super sus.
Super
Sorry,
sus.
Paz. No offense.
Super sus gov.
It's really hard to ignore at this point, isn't it?
Number 2. The book that we got from the governor's office, I think we need to do some research on that book.
Yes.
And I bet you it has some information about where
Javi.
went.
Oh, yeah.
Javi and your Naginata.
Yeah.
And then 3, which may be the least important, but I really think we should do, we need to make a list of everyone who remembers.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Yeah?
Can I add a 4?
Yeah.
We still have the disk drive from the governor's office, too. We got to find a computer.
Oh, right, yeah. We stole his PC.
Gordon thumbs around and literally like half inside the bag, just legs out, and then
Big
pops out
PC.
with the.
Oh shit! I forgot we had.
There's no air in there.
It's okay. You're back with us. It's okay.
We definitely need to figure out how to crack that, but I feel like that thing's trapped. Well,
PC's
okay,
trapped?
maybe not like trapped. I mean, I
like
could check
booby
it's trapped. Well, I can't tell.
I'm gonna investigate.
I just mean along the lines of government info, like it was hidden physically, but digitally.
Encrypted sort of thing?
Maybe more than that. Like, I don't know if this is going to open up a whole new can of worms.
We'll do this later. That's why it's number 4 on the list.
But, like, I have a +3 to investigation. I just, like... And I know my way around mechanics.
Sure. You're, like, very savvy and good at intricate work, but I don't know if you...
Software versus hardware.
Like, if you're quote-unquote proficient with computers.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm just looking at the machine itself to see if I see anything physically on it.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, okay. That is a 15 on the die +3, 18.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a custom-built thing. This is not like an off-the-shelf hard drive you stick in any computer.
No. Okay. You might be right, JJ.
Yeah,
Does Samira know any hacking stuff? Did Javi
we'll put
teach
this
her
lower
anything?
on the list.
We'll put it. We'll do this later. Okay. First, I think let's work backwards, at least from step 3, which is the list of the people who remember the dream or who had the same dream as us.
And therefore also remember
everything. The wraith attacks,
Yep,
all
okay,
that
good.
stuff. Because I think we can knock that out super fast. Number 1 through 4, us.
Yes.
Cecilia.
5.
Cecilia.
Has.
Javi.
Ravona. Her whole team.
And Brahma.
And Cecilia.
To our knowledge, I think that is everyone.
I think that's everybody.
Hema or no?
Does Hema remember?
Ibra pulls out their little compad and texts Hema. Any weird dreams lately? ?
Hema's not telling you shit.
Oh, fuck.
Just leaves me on red.
Literally just leaves you on red.
Fuck.
I don't know if we have read receipts. You'd have to manually text.
I think Hema sends you back an just a ...
my
ellipsis.
God.
But it's like,
can I
it's a
insight-
double ellipsis, so it's like, fuck you.
Can I insight check the double ellipsis?
Oh my God.
It's through text, so it's going to be disadvantage.
All right, I'll do it.
That's so fair.
That's how I feel reading every text.
Oh, that's 15.
With a 15, there's that ellipsis is certainly hiding something.
Damn! We're adding Hema to the list. Wow,
that
that was impressive.
I think I want to add Hema to the list, but with like a question mark.
Sure. General Shinmar?
I'm not asking her.
I don't know if you would know. She definitely didn't say anything in that one episode. I will say you have the book she wrote, so there's an easy way to find out.
We're gonna
now.
find out.
Oh, Fuller and Thorgan. I don't think I ever asked Thorgan about the dream. Did I?
We are fucking slacking.
Well, because you don't want to. You don't want to ask people that if they don't, because it's weird, you know.
And we only found out recently.
Yeah, we also didn't want to show our hand. Yeah, I think. Okay, I don't think Thorgan ever mentioned it. I didn't ask Fuller at all.
But Thorgan had like a visceral response.
Thorgan was there. Like Thorgan was there and has trauma about it. Okay. He was alive during the conflict.
Your parents?
My parents, I mean, they know about the conflict. I have asked them about if they hear about any weird phantasms or anything, and every time they've said no. They said that they keep an eye out, but multiple things have happened if they haven't said anything.
Okay, can I history check to see if there's anyone obvious that we're missing? 17.
Nice.
I think with a 17, you can be fairly certain that you have made an accurate list of everyone you've come across so far in this story and campaign.
Great.
Wow,
Great.
cool.
Perfect.
Heck yeah.
And then of people that we know don't remember
Samira.
Samira and Gwen are people we know
yes,
for sure.
Gwen. Yes.
Yeah.
And your parents.
And my parents, yeah.
I'll quickly throw in every single other member of the Radical Action Collective.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, during his speech, it was very clear that Javi was telling everyone for the first time.
Yeah,
again.
Javi told us
That
that,
does suck for
during
Javi.
the interrogation.
Listen, shit sucked for Javi. Did he make the correct decisions moving forward from that? Perhaps
No.
not.
It does not justify any of his actions.
Does Javi being blooped into a different dimension make you forgive him at all for Train?
It starts his redemption arc.
I think I'm sad for Javi. I don't know if the two are related.
Yeah,
I think my feelings about Train Day and my feelings about Javi. Sorry, every time I think about Train Day, it breaks me again. Today was supposed to be Train Day. It's so funny. Sorry.
Oh, Gordon, can you put Hema with a question mark on the list of doesn't remember as well?
Sure.
Okay. Homework assignment for the class.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start piecing together what everyone's piece of the dream was. Not right now. But let's come back so we can start to build like a full picture of where everyone was exactly in the dream at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Fran.
Yeah.
I got Brahma's dream. Because we're made of Astra, I didn't tell Brahma all of the information about Fuller at all. Like, not who it is, only that like there are people out there working to make magic accessible outside of Astra, and that their workshop moves around and that they'll never find it.
That's fine, I think.
I think Brahma might want to have a conversation with you about it if you're down for that at some point.
Sure. I mean, I'm new, so I don't know if that's a violation because I just haven't gotten a chance to ask them about it. I think they're fine. I think that's okay. Like, Brahma doesn't know where they are.
No.
I barely know where they are.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, happy to talk to Brahma about it. Yeah.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah, happy to have a scene where Mayana talks to herself.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I know. I love
it so much.
I'm excited.
Mayana shows up and there's no one else here but me. Mayana's like, what's going on? And she's like, it's just you today.
It's just you today. It's going to be that one episode of The Good Place where Janet is like everybody.
The best.
Okay. And Gordon lets out like a big shaky breath, and I'm sort of like shaking as I put that piece of paper into the bag and I move the book front and center on the table. And I look around at everyone like big, scary, moment of truth. And I open to the very first page.
Chapter 1. Did General Shinmar write this book, or was she gifted this book?
No, she wrote
this.
Yeah, she wrote this book.
Wow, that's her.
That's crazy.
It's not her diary.
It's not.
It is a book that she wrote to gift to Ravona.
That's insane. That's crazy.
She wrote it for Ravona to catch Ravona up to speed? Yeah, I almost caught Misha in that one. Misha's smiling. I almost got him.
She wrote it. It's a book she wrote.
Yeah.
Is there a forward? Or like an introduction or something? Or like a
to my
dedicated
husband.
to?
A dedication.
Come home, please. No.
To any of those, I'm trying to trick.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. I think it really. That's so funny. I've never really like held a book that wasn't like professionally, industrially, sort of printed for mass consumption.
It's like a manuscript.
Yeah, it's a manuscript. Like there's no title page. It's just like it just starts.
Leather-bound book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Intricate cover, gold leaf, like beautiful object.
Slay.
Written in a very precise and contained script.
Well, DM, what does it say?
What's important that it says?
Okay, here we are. Opening a book in an attempt not to just make this a big exposition lore dump to make it interesting for our listeners and our viewers. Why don't we have a group investigation or history roll?
Natural 20.
Natural 20!
Whoa!
Fuck yeah!
Oh, yes!
More than one? Damn.
That's a 16.
All right.
14.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, huge.
I mean, we better be able to read it.
And
It's
also
a book.
your
It's right in front of
mom,
us.
So it makes sense that
We're all really
Ibra
putting our
would-
heads together on this one.
Here's what I think I would like to do. I would like to give you guys the general overview of the whole book. I can't read you a whole book on air.
No, don't.
I would like to give you the general overview of the book. With such high rolls, I'm going to give you a couple of things that are distinctly not in the book.
Oh.
And I would love to go round robin and have each of you ask 2 questions. I think the natural 20s can get 3 questions.
That's so fair.
Yes!
That's so fair.
So, this story starts from General Shinmar's perspective in the earlier days of the war.
In the early days of our desperate stand against the Balvaroks, we used enchanted weaponry to keep ourselves safe. Spells on physical items to enhance hand-to-hand combat. A regular soldier could properly excel, and more competent warriors could be fierce on the battlefield.
What she describes throughout the book sounds a little bit like tagging.
Wow. Does she detail at all the techniques?
Is this one of your questions?
Do you want to use that as one of your questions?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm like a sentence into my notes.
Burned
Let's
it
fucking
so
go.
fast.
Just one. Does General Shinmar detail any of the techniques used to imbue these items with magical power?
No. it doesn't seem like she was super aware of the techniques. It sounds from the book that she's more interested in the implementation and the strategy. Like, once we have the tools, what do we do with them, as opposed to making the tools.
Copy that.
So in the early days, it was a lot of like, let's put a spell of strength on this sword, and now it's a +2 sword, and let's go out and like fight to defend our home.
Interesting. Okay.
Over time, forces of humanity retreated to these fortresses. At first, they were on the ground while they were building the hover version, and then it sort of got them up and running. Once these fortresses were up and running, that allowed the populations of them to develop more intricate uses of magic. Enchanting weaponry was very much like slap a spell onto this sword and hopefully we can survive. Once they were behind sturdy walls, it allowed them to sort of craft the prototypes for the spell matrices that you guys use, those sort of like metal devices that hooks into an astra and makes spells happen. There was development of like etheric weapons on a larger scale. Fortresses need battlements, and you could stop slapping a spell onto a sword and start like infusing a cannon with magical energy.
Wow.
Stuff
with
like
fireball.
That. Yeah.
Wow.
So as people retreated to these fortresses, abandoning their hillside villages, it allowed them to consolidate their knowledge and sort of industrialize a little bit. General Shinmar sort of breezes over this part.
Once we entered enclosed settlements, that was when we hit our stride. That was when we focused on artillery.
Oh, Mom.
And so just to clarify, so before this point, the magic that they have used has all been something that feels to us akin to tagging magic.
It feels personal. It feels individual.
Even though we knew Astra has been around for much longer than that. So
But it's not what
Not
they
the
were
refined
using.
version.
Yeah, not the refined version that we use. So we know that there are magical qualities to Astra, but it wasn't necessarily used within these techniques, or at least it wasn't demonstrated within what the general was talking about.
It sounds like even with these larger weapons, at the point at which they were developing them, it was just sort of the numbers game was so far in the other direction. The Balvaroks outnumbered people in fortresses to a degree that, like, even though they had large battlements, they were still barely just scraping by.
Soon it became clear to me that we needed to understand magic more deeply if we were going to survive. And if we were going to triumph, we needed to finally learn what magic could truly do. Putting an enchantment on a stick is quaint. Imagine a tree, a grove, or even an entire forest. Imagine what that could do for us.
If she's involved, sorry, this is freaking out Fran, of like, is she like ground zero of this project? I'm not asking that.
Sure.
This is Fran musing to herself.
Sure. And again, she's not describing the process of research. She's not a scientist. She's not a researcher.
Ultimately, she's a strategist.
Ultimately, yes, exactly.
Horrifying.
So it seems like the research turned from how do we just slap spells onto bigger weapons to like, what are we slapping? What is magic capable of? It seems like they were dancing around that idea that Fuller gave to you, that magic is thought made real. And what does that mean? And how could they use that more?
Soon after our fortresses took to the sky, I was called into council by our leader, Arkin Strand IV. He took a liking to my brilliant vision, and I believe it took proper shape under his guidance. Together, the future was bright.
Can you repeat that name?
Arkin Strand IV?
Yeah, Arkin Strand IV.
Oh, Arkin is the title.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
He was the Arkin of the civilization.
Got it.
Strand was a man of refinement. He knew what it took to advance a people. He knew with a strong arm and a deft hand, we could achieve things no one had dreamed of yet. And so he set me to task of finally finding an answer to our prayers. A path to safety and security, once and for all. I scoured the city for the brightest minds. Many fell short, their concoctions half-baked at best. I would not rest till I found the linchpin to our salvation. Finally, after many months of searching, fortune smiled on me when I found Tavian Aramis. Aramis brought a unique and visionary perspective on magic itself. He proposed the radical notion that magic was nothing less than thought made real.
Is Tavian a title as well? That's not my question.
No, Tavian's a name.
Okay, that's a name. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna ask a question, but that's not my question.
Yeah.
That's not the
Another question.
Yeah.
No, that one's just clarifying.
clarification.
That's fine.
Once that thought was had, all we needed to do was make it real. And what we needed next was resources, facilities, equipment, labor. That is when I recruited Leyland Dervani Heron to our cause, the local lord and financier.
Leyland Darvani Heron.
This is just sort of as an aside. Can y'all roll history for me real quick?
Yup. Spooky history. 15.
14.
11.
24.
Damn.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense for JJ to know this, actually. So that really works out for me. Heron Industries is a huge corporation. They make a ton of industrial equipment. They work a lot with the Mechanist Guild, I would say.
Oh, no.
And they're very successful in the age of Astra.
Mm-hmm.
We had the facilities, we had the equipment, and so it fell to me to acquire the Astra to power our vision. It was clear we need more Astra than had ever been harvested before. My colleagues despaired, but I never gave up hope.
Oh, come on.
And then one day, Aramis and I discovered the miracle deposit. It was enough to power the spell Aramis designed 10 times over.
So they plotted a defense point abutting the hover fortress up against a mountainside, hovering directly over this enormous Astra deposit, which was honeycombed with a network of caves.
Yeah, and they dug a giant fucking hole.
And, well, before they dug a giant hole, they had to clear out the caves.
No.
And this book, written from General Shinmar's perspective, is a lot of overcoming insurmountable odds, a ragtag force up against an overwhelming number of Balvaroks, but they managed to, over months, over like a campaign, which General Shinmar seemed to be the architect of, they were able to clear out the caves and start harvesting Astra from below the ground. She says how hard it was. She talks in the book about some of the dangers she faced, that the Balvaroks had mastery over certain types of magic, playing with the space of those caves that made a direct confrontation very difficult. The Balvaroks fought back, and they were crafty, and they were aggressive, and they were vicious. General Shinmar tends to embellish, tries to make herself look like the hero, but...
We killed some folks.
But the fear in the text comes through of there's certain points where she's like, yeah, and we definitely almost died because they definitely almost had the better of us several times, and it was hard.
We knew that sacrifices would be necessary, and I was proud to carry on the will of those who fell for the rest of us.
Hey. Still, though, it was their house.
Yeah.
I feel for her in the fact that, her fear is very real, but I'm frustrated because, one day you were living your life, and then a bunch of people came in and killed everyone you know, and you, because we had something you needed.
That's crazy. I don't think that's ever happened.
We can imagine a world where that happens.
This is the first time in history
anyone's ever even said that
doesn't sound real.
anyone's ever done anything.
And it's certainly not something we would base one of the major themes of our story off.
I don't think so.
It's also clear that, there was some amount of effort on the part of this inner council to sort of bring the larger population of the fortress on board.
Oh
sort of a
well, get in here, guys. Come in.
Honestly, kind of a propaganda campaign.
Oh my god. I hate your mom. I'm sorry, Ibra.
Well, then you're gonna hate the next thing I'm gonna say, because you'll never guess who was in charge of that effort.
My dad.
She talks about working very closely together with Master Bracha and how it drew them closer into
Jay-Z, Beyonce, disrespectful.
Yeah, she describes it as forging an alliance stronger than steel.
With Braha by my side, I became an unstoppable force of willpower. There was nothing we couldn't achieve together.
So he was mostly leading the propaganda side of things. He's on the essentially marketing department.
PR.
Yeah, he was the marketing department. Yeah.
That is so funny.
It seemed to be his task to sort of sway the will of the people into coming around. So yeah, it seems like it was Master Bracha's idea to sort of muster the workforce they needed to start harvesting Astra from the mines.
Jesus.
it seems like it was another months to years of work getting enough Astra together to accurately power the spell. There was a lot more defense from roving bands of Balvarox sweeping across the countryside that they had to defend against while they were sort of stuck sitting in one place and couldn't move, even though that's what the Hover Fortress was invented to do. But eventually, it seems like they were successful in harvesting the Astra they needed. And it was Aramis's quote-unquote flash of brilliance that if magic is thought made real, couldn't you just think the Balvarox away?
Oh my god.
With a huge spell.
Is it wish? That's my second question.
The council gathered the power they needed to cast a wish spell. And what they said was, I wish the Balvarox were gone. And so they were.
Friends shook. I'm so disgusted. And just because you say gone doesn't mean not somewhere else.
Or forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
Gone but not forgotten.
This just could be me taking things very literally, as I'm wont to do. But what we saw today wasn't necessarily a Balvarox. I don't know, there are like 1 million radio plays. Sorry, you had to break on that one.
Sure. Audio dramas? What's that?
There are 1 million, books and audio dramas about the wording of wishes. The be careful what you wish for. I don't know if they were careful enough.
No.
It didn't say gone forever.
Nope.
They didn't say or remain peaceful.
Yep.
They said Balvarox, which doesn't mean any permutations of any other threat.
Yep.
But I'm stuck on the part that says that they found enough Astra that they could cast this
10 times
over. What else could they have wished for?
They could have wished for people to forget.
But they didn't word it well enough so not everybody forgot.
I'm saying maybe they've used the spell since. If they had enough Astra to cast it once, and 10 times over maybe even being a ballpark metric, that means they've got 9 more wishes to make.
Who warned us in the dream that this was happening again?
Was it Aramis? Is Aramis still alive? Or do we know anything else about Aramis?
Above the table, the name is familiar, but I think it might have just been in a document somewhere. But
right?
What?
Or in the lecture in the first episode that JJ wasn't paying attention to.
Shit. I was like, why is that name just a name, or is that a meaningful name?
Let's go ahead and roll another history check.
I didn't write it down. I feel silly. Ooh, dirty 20.
Nice.
23.
10.
Wow.
21.
Wow. So it sounds like Tavian Aramis is a pretty well-known name.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of those names when you learn in school about great minds in science, like the way we would learn about Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
I think you guys might have learned about Tavian Aramis.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Wow.
involvement in Project Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is our Chernobyl.
Okay, so this guy was close with my mom.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Wait, so are we into questions now?
So we're getting into real questions. That seems just like a clarifier.
Yeah.
It seems like the inner council that made this decision was the Archon, which is like the head of their government.
Strand the Fourth. Aramis,
the designer of the spell. Leyland Heron, who provided the capital, the means of production. General Shinmar, who provided the resources via muscle. And Master Bracha, who gathered the citizenship and the consent of the people. So this is sort of like, the big climax of General Shinmar's book is the wish spell. It seems like there's sort of an epilogue where she talks about now that they had the infrastructure to gather Astra in this way, that they had learned so much through the process about how to manipulate it and how to control it, that it led to I think at this point, General Shinmar frames herself as one of the architects of modern society.
That tracks.
Yeah. What's not in the book? There's no mention of wraiths.
Oh, that makes sense too.
The way she talks about it in this book, they had this plan and, through adversity overcame and succeeded. And it seems the way the book is written that, like, there's no doubt in the general's mind that they succeeded, and they succeeded absolutely. But with your high investigation rolls in this book, you can sort of peer past that a little bit and see that, like, that's not hyperbole on her part. Like, that's truly what she believes. She believes they succeeded and everything was great. And so, yeah, so there's no mention of wraiths. There's no mention of, like, it almost ends with, like, and we all lived happily ever after.
Sure.
Well, my speculation is the wraiths are a recent development.
Right.
And the reason why everyone is so keen to keep this under wraps is because, like, we thought it was done. And if it's not done, especially people like Braha, the governor, and General Shinmar, they thought it was done.
Hey.
And so they're invested in keeping that truth the truth.
That's one more thing. There's no mention of Melissa Cinco.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. The governor.
There's no mention of the governor.
Oh, interesting.
He's not in it.
He got elected, like, not that long ago, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
got elected about 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah. So that's recent history.
Yeah, so there's no mention of him. There's no mention of his family name. That, like, you might expect that there might be some continuity of government from the before times to now.
Don't buy that.
Your city doesn't have an Archon.
Yeah.
There isn't even the position anymore.
Correct.
And sorry, the history of this dates back, what, because the conflict ended 50 years ago?
60 years ago.
60 years ago. Okay. This is fascinating. The thing I'm wondering is who of this list is Shinmar's real true love. That's the thing that I'm wondering.
No, it's Leyland Heron for sure.
It's Leyland Heron, or I could make an argument for Arkin Strand the Fourth, but I think you're right. I think it's Leyland Heron.
Leyland got full named.
Leyland got full named, and also I'm trying to remember which of the descriptions was like, I had deep admiration for this man. Which one was it?
Oh, that was the Archon.
Oh, see?
Oh.
So they're like, whoever it is, it's not your dad.
It's not my dad.
So that's a really interesting too. And like, that's not me asking a question. That's just me picking up on context clues from her own writing.
Your parents are the word and the sword.
Yeah.
But like,
I have written down the mouth and the muscle.
There you
same
go.
brand, same brand, same
My
brand.
parents
Locked
are the
in,
mouth
locked
and the
in.
muscle. They got together to consolidate power. They didn't get together for love, and I don't think Ibra ever thought they did.
Yeah, like a marriage out of strategic convenience slash like, I don't know, like a shrug. Like literally it's the shrug emoji. It's like, might as well.
But I am so curious after reading this, being like, he was a master back then. There was a lord there and an Archon.
Yeah.
There's an Archon who's no longer in play.
No.
And
Never
the,
even
and the
heard of him.
position doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not a thing that we have anymore.
And Heron isn't the lord that she coordinated with.
No,
in the
and
end.
I think with that high history roll from before, I think JJ knows that like Leyland Heron is now CEO of Heron
Leyland
Industries.
Heron is a CEO.
All right, it sounds like we've covered what's in the book, what's not in the book. Let's get to your questions.
I'm already cashed out. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, my question is the Archon.
Strand the Fourth.
It's weird that his legacy ended, that he's not a part of this world. My question is, do we have any knowledge about the shift in government framework? Specifically, the question under that is, what the fuck happened to the Archon after all this? Because one would think that the Archon, that was the leader of the population that ended a global
Conflict.
quote-unquote scourge,
Yeah.
would be completely venerated in our society. And
statues. That sort of
like
thing.
knowing now that there are ways to prolong life magically, why do we have a governor and no Archon? Like that the question here is like, it's kind of multiple questions baked into one, but ultimately it's like, what the fuck happened with Archon?
So it's not mentioned in the book. I think what you would know, because of all the various high rolls you've been making this session, and I'd love to see it, about 50 years ago, there was like a soft, non-violent revolution.
Oh.
Where like the prototypical guilds that were established from the miners after the war, before the city was fully what it is now, there was a summit, and it was sort of like decided that the people needed an elected representative. And so the office of Archon was sort of dissolved and a governorship was established. But I don't know if you know any more details than that.
Yeah, this was JJ pulling some of their stray history textbooks from their bookshelf to try and cross-reference stuff. I was like, I'm not in the School of Rhetoric. I don't know this shit.
Who is still alive?
Who's still alive?
On that list of important peoples? Well,
Archistrand the Fourth, Tavian Aramis,
and Leyland.
Leyland Heron, General Shinmar, and Master Bracha. I know 3 of them are alive.
Yeah. Leyland's alive because of the Heron.
Yeah, Leyland Heron is now CEO of Heron Industries, a huge name in industrial manufacturing.
It's probably like an old CEO at this point.
Yeah, my family's worked with his company several times.
Huh. So it's like, is Tavian still alive and is Archistrand still alive?
Yeah. I don't think from this book that there's any indication that either of them isn't alive.
Ooh.
This was a book that Shinmar wrote recently.
Ooh.
If they are alive, there are no clues in the book about where you might find them, but there's not definitively, like, you know, and I serve side by side with Aramis, my good friend who's
still here and lives at this address.
Yeah, it's not like, according to the book, Shinmar's the one who found him and brought him to the Archon. You might assume that they were friends, and so if they stayed in touch after the war, it's not in the book. Like, she sort of just drops all mention of them.
And I think that's why I'm asking, because I'm like, this is my mother. She has told me war stories my entire life. Have I ever heard these names? Have I ever, like, seen shadows of these people? Have I ever had any sort of experience where it's like mother was talking about, like, any sort of
Or one
experience?
of them showed up at one of your crazy dinner parties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about dinner parties.
I think you probably would have heard of Archistrand.
Okay.
I think because your mother is who she is and you had the sort of upbringing and training you had, you would probably know about Strand the Fourth. You might know about, you know, Strand the Third and Strand the Second. Like, you might know even further than that. I don't know if you've ever met him.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. Knowing that General Shinmar wrote this book to manipulate Ravonna in some way, are there any clear instructions or things that we can discern are the things that General Shinmar wants Ravonna to be doing?
Or believing?
Yeah, great question. I think what's very clear to you from the voice in which this book was written is that, like, she gave this to Ravonna to impress Ravonna.
Got it.
To make herself look like the key instrumental factor. Like, if it wasn't for General Shinmar, they would have lost the war.
Yeah.
It doesn't really contain a lot of future-looking information. It seems pretty clear that, like, for some reason, General Shinmar is kind of on the outs, Ravonna's kind of on the ins, and according to the story written in the book, that didn't used to be the case.
Yeah.
So what becomes clear to you through this is, like, this is General Shinmar's attempt to get back in the inner circle through Ravonna.
Oh, that's fascinating. Well, it's also because, like, General Shinmar is super unpredictable. A chained dog or whatever the thing is. Like,
Sure, mercurial.
Right.
Okay, second question. And I'm scared I'm wasting it. But
Go,
I gotta
smoke
do
You have a
it.
third one, though.
You had a nat 20 on that. You get a third question.
I have 2 more as well.
Great.
Yeah, this is kind of cool that you guys are, like, working together to stack these questions.
Yes.
I love this.
Yeah,
You
me
gave
too.
us an action economy. We're going to use it.
Yeah.
The Astra that was found that is powerful enough and enough of it to grant his plan 10 times over, is it described as, like, normal Astra that we are accustomed to every day, or is it the bright Astra that's been coming up in our experience?
Great question. I think in the book it is normal Astra.
Okay.
There is not a section mentioning, and also we found this second version of Astra that was more powerful than we incorporate. And I think with your nat 20, like, if that was the case, knowing what Ravonna's remit was, Shinmar probably would have mentioned it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because it's like, look for this, which also answers the other thing I was inferring, which is
right. Because if the purpose of the book is for Shinmar to impress Ravonna, you might imagine that Shinmar was like, look, we both found the same thing, and we had this mutual experience there, and that's nowhere in the book.
I have a theory, and I think it's that they need to get enough Astra to cast the spell again. I don't know for what reason, but they need a wish again.
Oh, interesting. I think that's very possible. I'm wondering if the occurrence of Bright Astra is the thing that's something has changed recently.
Yes.
Bright Astra has just occurred, and that's what's allowing this rift for things to come through.
I wonder, too, if the Balvarox, in whatever form they now take, are trying to find the Astra so that they can use the wish spell.
Right. Oh, yeah. Or if it's coming through from the other side where they might potentially be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might
because
already be trying to cast the wish, and that's how they're breaking through.
Yeah, because they're coming through the grid. They're like a spectral entity, so they're trying to reach back through.
Right.
And Javi has figured out a way to summon them,
Right.
which means he has some sort of access, or had some sort of way to access the veil in which the Balvaroks currently live.
Sorry.
No, you say words.
I just wonder if Javi somehow had already hacked the governor's hard drive and learned some secrets about this, and that's why Javi was able to summon Balvaroks.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. And again, my theory right now is like it's a race to get the most Astra to cast the wish spell again, either for the Balvaroks to reverse the first wish,
Or wish us away.
or wish us away, or wish that they were in charge. Probably not that one, but like it's a race to the next wish.
Yeah.
You said that the Balvaroks fought back with magic of their own,
Yes.
right? And they were extremely formidable.
Yep.
And the cave system was where they were living, and they
Well,
had
some
to
of them
get-
were living, right? Because they were living other places too.
They were living all over the world. It seemed like there was a massive nest here that was
Got
that
it.
it took a long time to clear out.
They like
Massive
living
nest.
near the Astra, though.
Massive
Yes.
nest over a huge deposit of Astra.
The miracle.
And around it, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like living near the Astra. It's like a game of keep away, where it's like if they're near the Astra, they have abilities. And if they can be kept away from the Astra, like they're weakened in some way.
I'm not sure if this is Bex or Ibra that's thinking, like, is the Astra dead loved ones that have been buried?
I think it's partially that. I think it's also memories. I think it's some sort of crystallized form of memories. That's what I think the Astra is.
It in the bright Astra feels like home.
Yeah.
Are the Balvaroks just trying to come home?
Yeah, I think so.
JJ, just so crestfallen in this moment, and it's just like, they could have just wished we lived in peace.
Yeah.
Right?
And they wished for them to be gone?
Yeah,
Gone means they have to go somewhere.
somewhere.
And it's just like it's breaking JJ's brain.
Yeah.
That wasn't the first option.
Like the fact that that their instinct wasn't even like, I wish that this conflict could resolve.
Yeah.
Or like, I wish we could live in peace. Yeah, that the first thing they thought was, I just wish the guys that are making my life inconvenient just weren't around anymore.
Just fuck them, you know what I mean?
Just like fuck them. Yeah.
gone.
And
just
so
like-
vague. Like, I don't even wish they had a solution.
I just wish they were gone.
Yeah.
It's so childish.
JJ's just so disillusioned by that specifically.
Is there a sense of the age that these people were at in this book?
Damn, bro, if only you had some questions left in the action economy.
Yeah.
I have 2 left in the action economy. Let's
I have one
formulate some
left,
questions.
Because I feel like Ravonna called us children, which is
Yeah.
very funny.
Describing the combat against the Balvaroks, did they learn of any tricks or weaknesses over the course of the whole war campaign that either... Do they have any immunities? Do they have any resistances? Do they have any legendary actions? Do they have any that vibe?
Sure. Well, if we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons mechanics, I can tell you that what you get from the book is that they do have some sort of rudimentary pack tactics. That it's very clear from Shinmar's writings that if they could get one Balvaroks isolated, it was much easier to deal with than if you get them all together in a group casting group magic. It seems
my
like they're big
God.
fans of group rituals, whatever they were doing.
And that would also explain the wraiths being able to work and commune together and become one creature.
Here's the other thing, just to remember, in our combat with that wraith, because I just got that holy bomb.
Yeah.
And the holy bomb does extra damage against ethereal and undead creatures. So that would lead me to believe that what we are fighting are the undead versions of whatever the Balvaroks may have been. I don't want to cut the line. I know you guys got questions, but I got one more, and it's my biggest question.
Okay.
And I hope it doesn't sort of not explode like a dud firework. Is there any mention of any type of prophecy?
Oh,
Fuck.
what an excellent question.
Fuck.
No mention of a dream, no mention of a prophecy whatsoever.
Okay. You really sold that well. I still feel dud firework-ish, but
No, I think
That
that's-
is crazy information to receive.
that's super, super critical.
okay, good. Now I feel good.
Super critical. Ooh, sorry, I have a theory. Keep
It's
going.
happening again. They don't know. I'm trying to remember the words from the prophecy.
It was someone should warn them.
They don't know. How could they? So it's someone who was there.
I'm living. I'm having my best day ever.
Misha is like writhing around in silent glee.
You're asking all the right questions and learning things.
Can I ask whose voice it was in the dream, or is that not?
I don't know.
I don't think that would be in
I think
this
that's
book.
a great question for you to have. I think, like, Bex, I'm so glad you have that question. I don't think that's anywhere near this book, and so I'm not even going to count it against your questions.
That's my biggest problem is I'm not sure what questions to ask that are related or applicable or, like, helpful.
Book-based questions.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with book-based questions.
Because it's context, yeah.
Can we hold on to our 3 question slots we have? Because the book's not going away.
Sure. I think that's fair. I put you guys on the spot here a little bit. I mean, they're only going to be based around this book. Even into the future.
That's fair.
Any answer, like if you guys bring these questions up later, I'm going to apply them to what you learned about this book on this night.
Yeah.
But if you all want to bank them for later, and so you have better questions, I'm down.
Fran, I want to hear more about your theories.
I mean, it feels to me like wherever the Balvaroks are, they're trying to get back here. And they're doing whatever it is that they can to get back here. If they're trying to get this spell again, and it's going to come down to whoever can cast it first, I want to wish that the wish spell can never be cast again.
Yeah.
That's too much power for any person to ever have. To just shape reality however they want.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know what the governor has to do with all of this, but it's clear that he seems to be a representative that the people believe in. I don't know if he was groomed for this position. I don't know if he fell into this position, but he holds an awful lot of power, and it does seem like he has some sort of awareness, at least if he has something suspect on his computer.
Do we need to add him to the list of people who remember the wraiths?
We don't know.
I'm going to add him to the question mark.
We could put it. Let's make a maybe pile. Hema and the governor.
I do think we need to find out a lot more. I still think part of Ravona's mission is still very much on the table. We do have to locate more piece of bright Astra to contain it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
The wraiths were definitely very much attracted to it.
I think they want to find it because whatever it can do, it can get them back here.
It can get them back here or away from here.
I don't think we should carry it around like we are anymore.
I think we need to disperse it. Like Ravona said, it puts a target on it. So maybe we divide and conquer. Fran, I don't know how many bags of holding you can make, but...
Oh, boy. I'd start, writing down, I'd start doing how much it's going to cost and all that stuff.
But...
If we could get 4 and split them between the 4 of us, I think that would be fair.
But this name, Erin.
Yeah.
Right.
Big CEO, still very, 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 very powerful in the city. I would have to double check, but there's a good chance that factory that we've been hearing about has something to do, at the very least, the industrialization of Astra. That's an Astra processing.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I've been, it's been tugging at me this whole time we've been talking, because we have those 4 side quests, right? There's the haunted house, the old lady's place.
That got burned down.
The burned down old
that
lady's
exploded,
place.
yeah.
The factory, and then there's one more, maybe. I can't remember.
It was just 3, actually.
It's 3. Can we roll a history check to see? Because, it's a big factory in the town we live. Is there a potential we could,
It's an industrial town. There's a lot of factories.
Yeah.
I don't know without going there and, confirming for yourselves or asking someone who knows how you would know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that feels like the strongest pull to me, because that name and the fact that we've been talking about factories feels very pertinent.
Gwen also was one of the first people who introduced that, right? Was that on the original list of side quests? Gwen would have...
More information
on each one of those things, but I don't think it's a coincidence that name is in this book and that might be one of our strongest leads.
Yeah.
I'll send a message to Gwen.
I guess we're going to a factory.
The Wandering Path was created by me, Misha Stanton, and produced by Bex Taylor-Klaus, Lynn Raffil, Mayana Barron, and me. The story was game mastered and sound designed by me, Misha Stanton. It was played and performed by Bex Taylor-Klaus, Lynn Raffil, Mayana Barron, and Ian McEwen. Cover art by Lynn Raffil, transcript assistance by Darby Summers, and music courtesy of the Independent Music Licensing Collective. Our production and house manager is Erin Bark. If you like what you're listening to, please tell your friends and let them know where to find us. Our website is wanderingpathpod.com, where you'll find links to subscribe and follow us wherever the path leads. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/wanderingpathpod. We're so grateful for anything you can do to help us keep making this show. Thanks for wandering with us. Till next time.